Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, or indeed, if you're new to the channel, welcome along. My name is Andy, the Uncommentator, and in this video, we're going to be playing a bit of a forgotten, well, I hesitate to use the word gem, a forgotten game, through the same letters, and add one and rearrange the order. Yep, we're going to be playing a forgotten game, and that is going to be, as you can see now, Pokemon Trading Card Game. So this is a PC game which came out around I don't know, about Windows 98 roughly. Now this lady here that you can see on the screen here, the blonde-haired lady, is called Julie. Now you notice you can see her but you can't hear her. So the reason for that is I have to apologise because of the way I've got to record this. I've got a choice between basically recording the sound of the game or recording my voice. So rather than you being able to hear me and then the game playing quietly in the background, I couldn't do that. There is probably a way of doing it, but I've not got the patience or skill to be able to do it. So given the choice between the game or me, I figured it was more important that you heard my voice. I know you probably disagree with that, but for those of you that don't, hopefully I made the right decision. So yeah, it won't detract away from the game, the fact that you can't hear it. Because, like in that video there at the beginning, she doesn't really say, you know, she'll just be saying, she just says something like, "Oh, if you want to be the very best like no one ever was, you need to do this and beat me and blah, blah, blah." And there's a few sound effects that we're going to miss out on. But all that aside, like I said, the lack of sound won't detract from the experience of what this game is about, which is playing the Pokemon trading card game. So if you don't know how to actually battle with Pokemon cards, I will very quickly go through it. Now there is a tutorial here. If we go to learn, we can play the tutorial, but we're not going to do that. We're going to go straight into the actual gameplay. So I'm going to play against Julie. That's a bit of a spoiler. That's who you're going to play against. I'll go on the extras, but I can't actually go through any of them. And then we'll say goodbye. So let's get on with it as we go on play. So our young friend here, Julie, comes back, tells me not to talk about her haircut, and then is basically going to be explaining to me at this point what we need to do. She also mentioned something about there are pointers. So if you don't know what to do, if you look at the top of the screen when we start battling, it'll tell you what you can and can't do. As you're going through, it tells you what your options are at various points. But first of all, we need to pick a deck. So we're going to go for the water deck. What are you doing? You're probably thinking, but no, there is a reason for that. I do actually think it's a better deck. So obviously Julie then by default gets the fighting deck, or the ground deck, I should say. So we draw our hand of 30 cards, and you can see that we've got Dratini, some energy cards, Goldeen, Pokeball, which could be useful. Got Seeking, so we've got the ace of the deck already, which is useful. Right, so you can see that at the top. So again, this is just the setup. So you can see again, like I said, at the top of the screen, now select your active Pokemon, drag a basic Pokemon from your hand to the arena. So like I said, even if if you never played the trading card game, this will talk you through what you have to do. But I'll try and sort of embellish what it's saying as we're going along. So again, it's stated obvious. Drag a basic Pokemon from your hand. Now the other thing to do here would be to put Goldeen in, because we can evolve it into Seeking. However, we're not going to do that. It is quite useful if you hover over the cards, they appear big on the right-hand side. But we're actually going to start with Dratini. And the reason for that is I want to set Seeking up rather than so it comes in as strong as possible, rather than sort of building it up as we're going along. We flip the Pikachu coin. Hopefully we get heads, which we will. There we go. Bit of a spoiler. I think you always get heads every time for that flip when you start. Later on in the game, you don't always get heads, but for who goes first, you always seem to get heads. Right, so now the game's ready and we can begin. So I'll very, 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 very quickly just go through what you need to do. So you can see at the top of the screen, it actually tells you anyway what your options are at this point. Play a card, try to attack or retreat, and then once you've done, you're done. So you can put as many. So on your turn, you can put as many cards on your bench as possible. So this is your bench here, and they can be switched in and out with the Pokemon that are in the battle arena during the game. You can play one trainer card on your turn, and obviously, depending on what it says, you can see there with the Pokeball. Flip a coin. If heads, you may search your deck for any basic Pokemon or evolution card. And then you can play one energy card per turn. You can attach an energy card to any Pokemon, either on your bench or in the arena, and as I said, you can only attach one on each turn. And now to attack, you can see you need to that's what the energy cards are for, basically, to attack. So if you look at Dratini, if we hover over Dratini, Dratini's a bad example, but we'll go with it. So pound, to use pound, we need 1 energy. Now white means anything. It's like a wild energy, if you want to call it that. Neutral, I don't know what you want to call it. So we could put all our energy cards are water ones, but so it's fine. But if we had a grass energy card, we could put that on, and it would still use pound. If we look at Goldeen, to use Horn Attack, we have to use a water energy. And that's it, basically. And then you just keep going. You battle out. Obviously, you're trying to get rid of the opponent's HP. So Diglett's got 30 HP, and if you knock out 3 Pokemon, you've got a prize. You've got a prize thing down here in the bottom right. Bottom right. So at the minute, it's 3 prizes. You can play, not on this game. If you play the real game, there's, I think, well, you can choose based on how many prizes you've got. So I've seen games where you can have 6 prizes, 2, whatever. So the first one to get all their prizes wins, basically. Not the first one to keep talking. So we're going to put Goldeen and Staryu on our bench to begin with. Then we're going to attach an energy card to Dratini. And then if we click attack, now Dratini's only got 1 attack, which is pound, and it's going to do 10 damage to Diglett. So we'll do that. Now, unfortunately, because there's no sound, you won't get a great sound effect. And you won't hear Julie saying something like, "Oh, well, that didn't do anything," which is true. It did something. It did 10. But you get the idea. So Diglett, 1 energy, and it's gone for Dig, which is fair enough. And then it's back over to my good self. 2 Pokeballs now. Right, so we'll put the energy card on Goldeen. We're not going to start singing Dolly Parton. Instead, we're going to go for pound again. Now, if she attaches another energy to Diglett on this next turn, it's going to knock me out. But we'll not worry about that, which she has. So it's going to do, I'm assuming it's going to do the 30 damage move now, which it has. So it went for Mud Slap. Mud Slapper. Mud Slapper. And it knocks me out. So now she gets one of her prizes, and I have to obviously replace Dugtrio. Replace Dratini. Butt Scratcher, for those of you that are wondering. So now it's my turn. So she's winning, essentially, because she's taken a prize. However, we could really do with some energy cards here, but we don't have any. So we're going to evolve Goldeen into Seeking, just by dragging it on. You can see there for Seeking, we've got 2 attacks. We've got Horn Attack or Waterfall. If we attach an extra energy card to Seeking, which we're going to do now, so we can now go for Waterfall. So because we've got 2 attacks, we can choose. Now I'm going to go. Well, I'm going to go Horn Attack because it will still knock it out, but it doesn't matter. You can do more damage. So obviously, you can see there now. If I'd gone for Horn Attack, it would have. You don't have to knock it out with an exact move, if that makes sense. So Diglett's gone. We now draw a prize, which I hope is an energy card, to be honest. No, it's Bill. Bill's quite useful. It's got Bill and Julie. Oh, okay. So Julie has no Pokemon on her bench, so I've won. So there we go. See, so we won by default there. I didn't actually realise that. Yeah, no. Well, yeah. I suppose no Pokemon on her bench. So because she had no Pokemon on her bench, she's got no one to replace Diglett with, and we've won. So we will play again. Actually, my intention was to play once, and then say sayonara. But because that's happened, we'll play again. So yes. So exactly the same again. Hopefully this time we'll actually get 3 prizes. Get somebody to draw 3 prizes. That was a bit bizarre. I didn't realise it did that. Oh well, that was fun. So same deck once again. I think there is only one. There's only one battle on this game basically. You face Julie with these 2 decks, and that's it. So I don't think there's difficulty to choose from or anything like that. We'll go into the extras, like I said, after the game, and just see what we can and can't do. But for now, we're stuck doing this. So this time we'll start with Staryu. I wonder if we're going to not go first this time. Interesting to see. I'll see what the old Pikachu coin decides. Yeah, we're going second this time, so that's not ideal. No, Diglett again. So this time she has got something on her bench, and it's Doduo. Okay, that was a little bit bizarre. I don't know why you'd do that. That was a lucky. So Doduo there went for Fury attack, so you can see there the right hand side. Flip 2 coins, this attack does 10 damage times the number of heads. She got 2 tails, so it did no damage. Why did she not just start with Dodo, though, instead of putting Diglett in and then switching? I don't know. Anyway, back over to us now. So we draw a card. We're going to stick Goldeen and Staryu on the bench. And we'll bang the energy on Staryu. So Staryu has 1 attack, but it does do 20 damage for 1 energy card, so that's pretty good. Pretty good ratio. Slap. One thing I do like about the trading cards is how they do attacks that don't happen in the Game Boy games. No, thank you. I always find that, Slap, as far as I'm aware, Slap isn't a move. Slap wasn't in the game. I mean, there's the Splash, which doesn't do anything. But yeah, I don't think. Oh no, there's double Slap. I was going to say there is Slap, but it's Slam, isn't it? One of the worst moves in the history of Pokemon. Right, we're not going to go Gust of Wind, so let's put. We need to reattach an energy. So we've lost an energy card now because you played that trainer card. I was going to say I'll play Bill, but we've lost him, hasn't he? That was in the game that got abandoned. We'll stick with that. She may withdraw Dodo here. Won't be surprised if she did. So you can withdraw your Pokemon. So if I just hover over, yeah, I thought she would. So if we just hover over Staryu for a second, you can see there the bottom right corner of the card. It says retreat. So that's how you swap Pokemon. And sometimes you can retreat without it costing you an energy card. So if we look at Dodo, for example, the retreat there, you can see underneath there's no symbol. There's no white symbol like there is for Staryu. So for Staryu, I'd have to use an energy card. I'd have to discard an energy card to retreat Staryu. But I don't have to do that. But for some Pokemon, you don't have to do that. Like Goldeen, you can see there, you can resist. You can withdraw Goldeen without it costing you anything. So we'll leave Staryu in for now. We'll just try and build the bench up. So if Staryu does get knocked out, what's Meowth Payday? Flip a coin if heads, draw a card. Okay, our Pokedex. Okay, look at up to 5 cards and rearrange them. Fair enough. And she's not attacking because Payday is 2. You see, Payday 2 energy cards for 10 damage. I know there's an extra potential there with the flip a coin, but then you look at Staryu, 1 energy card for 20 damage. So half as many energy cards and twice as much damage. Okay, another Goldeen. We'll put Goldeen on the bench. Why not? And we'll put this energy card on the other Staryu. And we'll keep attacking. We should try and knock something out as quick as we can here. Yeah, you can see now why I said, oh, there we go. So she gets a free switch now, which is useful, especially if you're a Nintendo fan. You can see now why I said this game's a bit of a forgotten. I said forgotten game rather than gem because it's not. There's not a lot to it. There is actually a version 2 of this game which I've never played before. I did have this game when I was a kid as a CD-ROM. For those of you that are old enough to remember those. But this is not a CD-ROM version, as I said in the introduction. This is the way I'm having to record this. I had to choose audio, and I chose me rather than the game's audio, for better or worse. So not by design, I can assure you. Right, she seems to be attacking. So Machop, Machop's similar to Staryu. 1 attack, 1 energy card for 1. Oh, there we go. Seeking. And I wish I'd still had that energy card now. That I put onto Seal. That's annoying. Okay, I'm not going to evolve. The obvious thing to do would be to evolve Goldeen, but I'm not going to do that for now. Yeah, I'll stay in. I was going to play Gust of Wind, because if I play Gust of Wind, I could swap Machop out and put either Meowth or... I could put Meowth, Dodo, or Diglett in. And then I would knock it out. But I'll stay in and I'll attack Machop, because I want to try and knock it out before it evolves into Machoke. Each deck only has 1 evolution card. 1 Pokemon you can evolve. There are 2 Seekings in my deck, and I'm assuming there's 2 Machokes in Julie's deck. Please give me an energy card on my next draw. Thank you. So now I'm going to stay in, though. Or am I? No, I might switch, I think. So I'm going to attach that to Goldeen. We will now evolve it into Seeking. Yeah, I'm going to switch Staryu out. So we need to get rid of the discard energy card, unfortunately. And drag Staryu onto Seeking. The reason why I'm doing that is it's because I want to knock this Machop out, like I said, before it gets a chance to evolve. I don't know if she's got a Machoke in her hand, but just in case. Let's knock this out now. Right, so now Machop's gone. But the battle won't end because she's actually got things on her bench, although we are in a really good position here. So despite going second, it's going well. So we draw a prize now. I don't know why she sent Doduo in, but okay. No good, another energy card was useful. Why would you send Doduo in? Although I've got a feeling now Machop's about to come back in. There we go. Not put any energy on it though, so that isn't good. Well, not for her anyway. It's good for us. Yeah, we'll stick that on Goldeen. Why not? And we'll go straight for Waterfall. I think you can lose at this game, but it is kind of set up to make it very difficult to lose. Basically, if you do the right things, you should win. As I said, there is a version 2 of this game which I've never played before, but I will try and seeking it out to see, and I might make a video out of it. Why not? Why not, indeed? Another energy card. I'm not going to bother attaching it though. I think this is going to be over pretty soon. So Waterfall again. I mean, I say this. It's not normally this easy, to be fair. I did play a game before recording this. I did have a couple of practices just to remind myself what this game is about and how this game works. And why did she keep doing that? And she was down to 1 prize, and I still had 3 left, and I still managed to win. So she doesn't just roll over and die like she appears to be doing here. Because even if she gets 2 heads here, I've won on my next turn. So I'm not quite sure what she's doing. There is actually there's a really, really good... I said this game's a forgotten... not a forgotten gem. There is a forgotten gem. And that's for the Game Boy Color. There was a Pokemon trading card game for the Game Boy Color, and that game was awesome. That game was fantastic. Also, I've just noticed something. Sorry, Waterfall there. It's in 2 words. Water and then water space fall. Whereas obviously in the real game, in Pokemon, there is a game called Waterfall, isn't there? But that came in Gen 2. So again, we've got moves here. Actually, that's interesting. If you look at the card, I will just notice this. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. If you look at the card in the top right corner, Waterfall's 1 word. But then if you look underneath where the 2 attacks are, it's 2 separate words. So that's great quality control there. So thank you for that. Anyway, let's finish this off. And we'll finish it off with... we'll go Horn Attack. Why not? We've won anyway. There we go. So 3-0 in terms of prizes. Yeah, there is an awesome Pokemon trading card game for the Game Boy Color, which I had. That game was great. And I think with that game came a promo Meowth card. I could be wrong on that one, but I feel like it did. Anyway, we get the 3rd prize. We beat Julie for the 2nd time. We're not going to play again. And that is Pokemon Trading Card Game. Now, as I said, before I go, I'm just going to go quickly. I think I said this earlier. I'm just going to go onto the onto these other things on the menu. I'm not going to go on the extras though because they won't work basically. So learn obviously learn is what it is. It's like a tutorial. If we go into extras, I'm not going to click on any of these though because they won't work. But yeah, you can make your own coin. So yeah, I don't know how you do that. Print the player mat. So the playing area. I do actually have a paper version of it. I have got a play mat to play this game on. So I did when I was a kid. I did actually play with the cards rather than just collect them. Join the Pokemon League. I don't know what that is. It'll be some kind of website club type thing. Learn the secrets of the masters. Again, that'll be on some kind of website. And then the Academy entrance quiz. Again, I think that goes to a website. I think. I don't think it's built into the game. I'm not going to click on it though, because if I do, it'll break, and then I'll have to record this again. which, given how bad the commentary's been, may not be the worst thing in the world. But we're not going to do any of that. Instead, we're going to end the video. I'm not going to play the credits, even though I possibly could, because no one wants to see that. But that is Pokemon Play It. So, not the most exciting game, not the most replayable game, but a nice little footnote in the history of Pokemon gaming, especially in the late 90s when this came out. As I said, this was built for Windows 95 and 98, if you're old enough to remember those particular operating systems. But anyway, that is the end of the game, and that is the end of this video. So if you enjoyed this video, then please like and share the video. You can also leave a comment on the video should you choose to do that. While you're here on YouTube, if you head on over to the channel, The Commentator, you will find the rest of the videos in this playlist. In fact, you won't find the rest of the videos in this playlist because there aren't any, so we'll edit that bit out. But you will find plenty of other, I don't know what I'm talking about, plenty of other Pokemon games. Actually, having said that, if I do play Pokemon Play It 2, then there will be a playlist. It'll have 2 videos in, but it's still a playlist, damn it. So, yeah, we'll edit that back in. Yeah, as I said, though, if you go to the channel, The Commentator, you will find plenty of other content that is Pokemon related and hopefully a little bit more exciting than this potentially was. I've played through Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 using rental-only Pokemon. I've played Pokemon Puzzle League. I think I've played something else. Pokemon Snap, there we go. I played Pokemon Snap. I knew there was something else. I haven't played the Pokemon trading card game for the Game Boy Color, though, but that may be something I might try and seek out, because that game is awesome, as I said. But yeah, there's plenty of Pokemon content on the channel. Also, if you don't like Pokemon, I'm not quite sure how you still listen to this, but if that is the case, you're also catered for on the Uncommentators channel, because there's plenty of non-Pokemon related content, including FIFA Street, if you like soccer. There's some wrestling stuff. I'm actually recording this the day after WrestleMania. So if you like wrestling, there's plenty of wrestling content as well. If you don't like wrestling, then there is some co-op stuff I've done. I've played Crash Bash with a friend of mine. I've played Game Ground, Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3, World of Illusion, anything you can think of. It's probably not going to be on the channel, but certain things it will be. So please go and check that out if any of it sounds good. But join me next time. We're going to be moving on to something else probably. I may, as I said, eventually make Pokemon trading card game Play It 2, which hopefully will be a little bit more, have a little bit more depth to it. We shall see, but until we get to that point, for now, from me, it is sayonara.